Welcome to another episode of the For the Love of Cricket podcast with Jim and Akim. Today we'll be discussing a World Cup group stage game played between England and the Netherlands. Basically fighting for the last Champions Trophy spot to be played next year. England batted first, made 339 for 9, the first time passing 300 in this World Cup. Netherlands could only struggle to 179 all out. What is your take on the game?
I think the English batters finally showed up to the tournament. It's the best batting performance that they have had. The performance was led by a century from Ben Stokes and a very good knock of 87 from David Malan. He would be disappointed that he didn't get to three figures. He was run out just short, and it was a disappointing end seeing that it happened in about the 22nd over of the game. That being said, England batted well. Chris Woakes also played a good hand, getting a half century towards the end of the innings, and that propelled them to a good total. And you felt as if once they got that score, they would have won the game. They've been out of form, they've been playing badly, but they still have good cricketers. So you felt that once they got that score, they would be able to defend it, and they did.
I thought England's batting lineup did what we have known them to be able to do over the past 8 years. Their lineup is structured in such a way where they are prepared to collapse. They can recover from. They're basically the only team in the World Cup that has the ability on paper to recover from 150 for 6, 190 for 6 and still get 300 because they play so many all-rounders and they stretch the batting lineup. Ben Stokes made 108. What was his innings in your view?
I think it's one of the better innings that I've seen him play for a while. I think the Dutch bowlers bowled. They were a bit on the shorter side to him. He scored a number of boundaries, hitting square of the wicket, pull shots, cut shots especially. He took a liking to Arian Dutt probably towards the end of his spell, but it was a well compiled innings from Stokes. It was played at a fairly good pace. We've seen him bat throughout this tournament, and his innings have been pedestrian, way too slow, and they've been uncharacteristic of Ben Stokes. So it was good to see him come out and play like this. It was almost as if he was saying, I mean, the campaign is over, might as well just go out and have a good hit and express myself. So that is what my takeaway was from his innings.
I thought his slow starts up to this point in the tournament, one is as a result of him being the second anchor in the team. I think they brought him in just for that role specifically, along with David Malan. But his struggles have been thus far due to the dramatic collapses that the team has had. Today he chipped the ball around, got to 50 with a chance, and then was able, after getting his half century, to push on and motor his way to 108. The middle order struggled again, captain failing again. How was his dismissal to you?
His dismissal was disappointing, but it reminded me of how he's been getting out all tournament. He's been forcing drives off the up. A number of times he's edged them behind to the keeper. This time he got it. It hit a solid piece of the bat, but it was very high up and it lobbed to mid-off. It was a disappointing dismissal, and it really summed up his tournament. He has been woeful in the tournament thus far. It's uncharacteristic of him. He is one of the best white ball batters in world cricket, and to see him struggle like this consistently throughout the tournament is a surprise. And I think a lot of decisions will have to be made after the World Cup, probably with his captaincy, and probably freeing him up from the responsibilities to go out and express himself. And that's if he still wants to play the format.
Chris Woakes counter-attacking half century. Do you think that was the blow that pushed England England's total out of reach of Netherlands?
It definitely was. We've spoken on this podcast before about Chris Wokes' role. I highlighted that he was struggling with the bat in the tournament. He was averaging 12 with the bat before this game, and in the previous game he had scored 30 or so. You lamented and you had said that it was probably because of the situations that he found himself in when he came to bat, because oftentimes England were on the back foot severely. 80 for 6, 50 for 6, 50 for 7, those sort of scorecards. So he wasn't able to play the almost finisher role, or the role of the last established batsman to take the score home to the 50 overs. He was able to do that today because he came to bat with England at 190 plus for 6. Still a situation that they would not have been very comfortable with, but it was better than the previous scenarios in the tournament. And because of that, he was able to flourish and he played a very good hand.
Liam Livingstone, averaging 10, strike rate 63, 60 runs so far in this tournament. What's your take on his performances thus far? He didn't play today, but
it was right that he did not play. He should not play for the rest of the tournament, in my opinion. His World Cup has been awful. He isn't the only English player that has been below par in this tournament, but I think he has probably been the worst. When you probably compare him to someone like a Josh Butler, I am more disappointed in Josh Butler because Josh Butler is a far more established and consistent player with a higher average and more consistent in his scoring. Liam Livingstone sometimes plays the role of a finisher, pinch hitter, aggressive batter, so those players generally have lower averages, but he really struggled in this tournament, and his place in this 50 over squad will come under severe pressure moving on from this World Cup.
Outside of bowling straight at Ben Stokes and taking that chance off him, is there anything you thought the Netherlands bowlers could have done to finish off the innings from 197 for 6?
Probably more pace off deliveries and a bit more variation in pace. When you look at how Stokes was striking the ball, he could have comfortably hit the balls down the ground and to mid-wicket. When there was width, he was very good through the offside as well. Generally, I feel that when batters are striking the ball down the ground very well, consistently, it means that the bowlers are probably bowling a bit too full. The pace is also predictable, so it allows them to have a comfortable free swing. So that is something that the Dutch could have executed better. Logan van Beek struggled at the death again for the Netherlands.
Before we move on from the English innings, we jumped over Joe Root's batting. His dismissal.
Joe Root is one of the best batters in world cricket. He's probably the best batsman to have ever played for England. He is such a good player. He possesses the skills. He is one of the best modern batters ever. And he has recently brought this reverse scoop, reverse ramp into his repertoire of shots. He plays it in Test cricket. They have given him the freedom to go out and express himself like that. It is a shot that he plays very well. I have to question Joe Root's decision making in playing that shot today, because at the point at which he had played it, there was a third man and a deep point back on the boundary. It's a high risk shot for probably 1 run. It's a high risk shot for probably 1 run. You have to absolutely nail it to get it for 6, and it's such a big risk to take for somebody who is so good at just pushing the ball around, finding gaps and scoring anyways. That is a shot that I would probably leave towards the end of the innings in 50 over cricket for somebody like him, especially with how fragile this English batting lineup and middle order has been. It looked like the shot of a very inexperienced, rash player, and Joe Root is not that person. So I think it was just a disappointing dismissal.
What if he was trying to get another fielder behind him? It was in the second power play, so only 4 fielders out. They have a point and a third man. He was probably trying to get a long stop behind the keeper, say he could hit it in front afterwards. You don't know.
I mean, he can hit the ball wherever he wants, so with everybody back and still score anyways. So it was really uncalled for.
Netherlands made 179. Their top 3 batsmen didn't really give them much again for the 8th game in this competition. Max Odoud failed again. Baresi got to 37.
Crawled to 37. Crawled.
Strike rate of about 58 or something like that.
It was an absolute crawl.
And then the lower middle order, Nidemanaru and Bastlead and Scott Edwards and Engelbrecht compile a decent total at a very slow rate. As I said, seeing England get more than 270, 280, we know it would have been a stretch for Netherlands. They don't have the power to get 300 on a consistent basis.
Unless it's against the West Indies.
And I think that fact also shows up in the stat that they have 10 runouts in this tournament so far. The next team is 4 runouts. So it's as if they're trying to steal singles, trying to turn 1s into 2s and 2s into 3s and are getting in trouble for it. They had another run out today that Baresi, 37, the opener. Maybe it was planned.
Yeah, it was
because it was going too slow.
It was probably a message from the coach.
Run him out.
Pull the plug and not in it.
Outside of that, what are your views on their innings?
I think Chris Wilkes and David Willey bowled well with the new ball. They were fairly accurate. They created chances, they got wickets, they put the batters under pressure. Outside of the power play, I think it was good to see Moeen Ali pick up a wicket. It's his first, he got his first wicket of the tournament today in England's 8th game. I think Moeen Ali has played 5 or 6, I think he has played 6 games in the World Cup thus far. He is someone that we said could have the potential to be a player. He's somebody that I said could have the potential to be a player of the tournament in this World Cup if he got things right. Generally, when the World Cups are played in Asia, it's a spin bowling all-rounder that dominates. We remember when India won in 2011, it was Yuvraj Singh that was the player of the tournament there. We've seen this World Cup where Glenn Maxwell has set the World Cup alight with his performances after having a bad start. So those players are generally very important in World Cups in these conditions. He has been below par, he's been average, he has been, there are not enough adjectives to describe how his World Cup has been, but those adjectives could also be used to describe the whole England team, with the exception of probably David Malan with the bat and David Willey, who has gotten some decent performances. Chris Wilkes as of lately, and then Stokes has gotten 100. Everybody has been well below par. Joe Root started the tournament well and then he faded as well, but everybody has struggled. So it was good to see him get his first wicket of the tournament. He got 3 wickets. Adil Rashid also picked up a couple wickets. They were both on the slightly expensive side, but I mean, they were comfortable in the score that they were defending and they were able to do the job for the team in picking up wickets in the middle overs.
So England now sit at 7th in the table with a game to go against Pakistan. I think even if they lose that game, their net run rate would still be healthy enough to keep Bangladesh and Netherlands and Sri Lanka below them. So it's safe to say that they have made it.
They made it to the Champions Trophy. Well, what's that? Mission accomplished, objective achieved.
Yeah, I guess they have a cushion. They're in seventh. They're in seventh place, so they can't go below 8 at the moment. You know, they have a safety net. They have all the nets. You have anything else to add?
No, that's all from me.
Alright guys, thanks for watching.
Thanks for watching, guys.